All right. It says we're live. So what's up? What's up? How's everybody doing tonight? How are you, Tom?
Pretty good. Yourself?
Good. Good. Weather's warming up. We actually hit the mid 70s over here in Iowa the past couple days. So that's a pleasant surprise and much appreciated. You guys warming up a little bit over there?
Yeah, it got up to, excuse me, I think it was like 63 degrees
I'll take 63.
today.
63 is
So,
good. Yeah, we don't
yeah.
have a whole lot of snow left. I mean, there's some left from parking lot piles and whatnot, but for the most part, it's cleaned up pretty well. So, just gonna run through, see who's here so far. Patrick, Crowntail Half Moon, S. Myrtle is always here on time. I think Myrtle gets here before I do most of the time. Same with Patrick. They get excited about this stuff apparently. Geek Boy said good evening. What's up, Sharon? Glad to have you. Third Coast Scott, what's up, brother? John Oliver from John Oliver's Guppies and Aquatics. If you haven't checked out John's stuff, he just posted a recent unboxing of, I bet he probably got 500 new guppies in. Some pretty cool stuff to see.
Wow.
So check out John Oliver Guppies and Aquatics. He does have a band group that he posts a lot of his stuff on. He also has a Facebook group that he posts stuff on over there. So make sure you go check him out, show him some love. He does post some super cool stuff. Amanda May, hey, howdy. Patrick said he left the Killyfish stream for me. I'm, you know, I'm dedicated to you guys, so I'm here. But I'm recording the Killyfish stream because that's going to be a good one. Super excited about that. I actually sent that out to a couple of my Killyfish buddies over there. Wasn't news to them; they were already on it, but it should definitely be worth a watch.
Hi.
Hey,
I
Priscilla,
was
what's up?
caught off guard. I thought you were gonna talk still.
I thought about just leaving you there and seeing how long you'd wait, but I decided better move on and let you join in on the fun tonight. How you been?
I'm a patient person. It's been a long day, a rough day, but I'm alright.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that. Myrtle did drop John Oliver's channel there, so make sure you check that out. He's got some pretty cool stuff. Sean OTD, Shell Dweller Sean, is here. Hope you're feeling better. I know you had some ribs going on a couple weeks ago from when you got whacked with some lumber. But I've been seeing you around more often, so hopefully you're getting back into the swing of things. John said, thanks for the shout out. Always, man. Love helping out some great people. So check him out. If you haven't heard of him, he's got some really awesome stuff. If you've seen my video of the half black white tuxedo guppies, those are from John Oliver, and they didn't come with Fry in the bag, but they dropped Fry as soon as I let them into the tank. So they're ready to go. You're not getting, tiny little quarter-inch fish. You're getting full-grown, really colored up, nice looking stuff. I
Nice.
saw Danny here. What's up, Danny? Rocco's Fish Room. Hey, howdy, hey. So Sean's been trying to paint his face today. Sean, why are you trying to paint your face, man? Not sure what's going on there. We'll figure it out. So Priscilla, you said you had a rough day, huh?
Yep. It's like one of those days where I'm gonna be like in 2 years go say to my boss, you remember when that happened? Because it was so bad.
So what happened? Let's we
So
only got 10 people here. But let's start sharing some stories. I'm all ears.
so I got to work and then walk in, bunch of water on the floor. I'm like, what's going on? So I go to the front of the store and all the way up to the door, huge puddle of water. Look back, the 180 reef tank is about 5 inches low. And all the lights are off, all the power's off. So something caused the power strip to melt to the outlet, and the breaker flipped, and the sump overflowed. And normally it only drains to the teeth of the overflow, but the pump started back siphoning, which is why there was about 30 some gallons of water on the floor. Anyway, I clean it up, get the shop vac, clean it, try to figure out what the problem is, found the problem. I got a picture of that too.
Oh yeah.
And then get another power strip, plug the pump back in from the sump, turn it back on, it works. So I fill the tank back up because it was 30 gallons low.
Okay.
Ooh.
It's about 5 minutes and the pump goes out. And another
Whoa.
30 gallons are just running onto the floor. And yeah, it's been a lot of cleaning and power strips and just one of those days. And the big eel I have at the store wasn't doing too good either because he was out of oxygen, and I'm not too sure how long it's been since the power was off because nobody was at the store yesterday.
Okay.
So here's a picture. Maybe I can show this off here. The plug that melted, and then the outlet. That's how the outlet ended up looking.
Oh, perfect.
So there was an electrical fire. So yeah.
So did you actually lose any fish, or were you able to, kind of pick things, like notice things fast enough, or what happened?
No. So luckily, I had one of the wave makers plugged into another outlet. So the wave maker was still going and caused surface agitation. Here is the floor and everything after trying to clean it up 2 times.
Okay.
But yeah, there was this big 180 that went out of power twice.
Oh, perfect.
But yeah, fun day.
So was there any damage, like obvious damage to the store or anything?
It's just the pump and the sump gave a crap. I had to replace the pump. And I didn't have a pump, the right size pump. So my boss had to come in and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now what? What's your plan for the tank now?
Well, the problem is because I moved the power to a different circuit. I'm worried I'm going to overload the circuit, so I didn't plug the lights in and all that stuff. I just plugged the pump in, so the tank is filtering. So you're going to have to replace that outlet and make sure it's not going to get wet because, fish store, things get wet.
Right. Now, was that
take a few days?
Now, that looked like it was a regular outlet, or was that on like a GCFI circuit?
It was a regular outlet.
Okay. So,
yeah.
But it didn't blow any breakers or anything? It just kind of hooked the outlet?
No, it blew the breaker.
Okay.
But the outlet looked like it caught fire for a while, so.
Okay. So, well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, but luckily didn't lose anything, so that's
okay.
Good.
Looking back on what happened today, is there anything that you plan on doing in the future or doing to other tanks to try to prevent that now?
I guess I'm gonna go check everything again and just make sure there's nothing anywhere where it possibly could get water into it, even if a tank overflows or anything like that.
Right. Now, like, how far from the sump was that outlet ended up getting wet?
About 6 feet.
Okay, so,
I don't know, I think the outlet got just wet because of the humidity in the soil.
Okay. So do you guys have to run a dehumidifier there at all?
Yeah, we just got one 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
So let's hope that helps. But usually, because nobody's there on Monday, if I come in on Tuesday, like all the glass doors, the front is wet and the humidity in there is like almost 100%. Yeah. So, which doesn't mix well with electrical.
No, does not.
But nobody
So,
got hurt. But by
That-
the second time I lost those 30 gallons of water on the floor, I got the shop vac again. I was gonna get all the water up, and the shop vac stopped working.
Oh, Jesus.
uh-oh. Then what?
And I just used the mop instead. And then right next to the 180, there's a 50 low boy where we have coral frags in there that has a sump as well. And I hear this weird noise. I turn around, and the YouTube broke the siphon from the overflow, and the low boy was about to overflow.
Okay.
But I just caught it because I heard it. I was just like, what else has to happen today?
Well, that sucks. I mean, I'm sure we've all got a few stories, and we'll kind of share those tonight and see what we learned from it. See some new faces in here, though. Mismatched Socks. Hey, what's up? Thanks for stopping by. I don't know if you've been around too many times, but we're glad you joined us here at the Aquatic Exchange on Tuesday night with Tom from Skipper's Aquariums and Priscilla from Swiss Aquatics. Ray Aquatics is here. What's shaking? Crowntail Half Moon said they're having some problems getting a black screen. Hopefully you can hear us. Try refreshing. If not, try closing your browser and coming back in, so to speak. Amanda said, my day consisted of sleeping in late and going to Taco Bell. Went to Walmart. Got into an argument that slammed his carriage into my rusty van. I try to avoid, I avoid Walmart like the plague. I can't do it. Drives me crazy, man.
The only thing that Walmart's good for is the freak shows.
Anthony's Fishy Friends is in the house. What's up, Anthony? Hope you're doing well, man. Now that you're settled back into California after you went out and visited Priscilla in Colorado. Did you guys do any videos together at all or anything while he was out there?
He made a video. I don't know if he edited.
Oh, did he? Was that of like your fish room or the shop or what?
No, the store.
Oh, the store. Okay,
yeah.
Cool. So if you're not subscribed to Anthony's Fishy Friends, check him out. I'll drop his link here quick, and you guys can watch for that video when that drops. He's pretty good about posting content pretty often. He's got some pretty good stuff, and if you're into late night hangout streams and extensive fish banter, he's always a good show. Anthony, what time you streaming again? I'm sure you're going this week again.
No, he's not.
What?
He asked me to take over. He has things to do.
Things to do.
I couldn't because I worked the next day.
Yeah.
And that's pretty late for me to.
Yeah.
I think Bob's going instead. Bob.
So I was supposed to stream with Priscilla. Normally I help her out on Saturday nights, but I had to work this weekend, so sorry I missed out on that. I'm sure you folks missed me, especially Patty. She was probably glad she didn't have to listen to my voice for a few days.
She probably has it on. She plays it while she goes to sleep.
Right.
Patty.
I'm sure it's enough to put some people to sleep, especially that we streamed for 4 hours last week. That was nuts. I had no intention of going beyond like an hour and a half, and you guys kept me up, talk about plants and crap. You guys got me going. Jess is here.
May or may not have had something to do with that.
I'm not putting the blame on anybody.
Hello, Jess from Mainz.
Jess is here. Crown Tail figured their mess out. Bottom Blowers, howdy. Any more new names? I don't see any right now. So speaking of bad luck, I used to have, many years ago, I had my 75-gallon tank in my basement, and I was using straight RO in it. It was a planted tank. I was just using straight RO for water changes, but I didn't have a storage container big enough to do a large water change. So I decided that I still wanted to do a large water change. So I replaced what I had in storage, which is only maybe 20 or 30 gallons. And then I thought it would be a good idea to run the output from my RO system just straight to the tank. And it was late in the evening. And I'm like, oh, okay. I was like roughly crunched some numbers. Like, okay, if I get up in 8 hours, it's a 75 gallon per day unit, whatever. I thought I had it figured out. Definitely did not. And obviously, I can't just move a float switch and an auto shutoff valve over the 75 gallon tank. So I don't know how many gallons of RO I poured out onto the floor, but I went downstairs in the morning, and that was an absolute disaster that not only involved a shop vac, but tearing up a lot of carpet that was obviously ruined. So that was unfortunate. So now all my fish tanks are in the basement, and I have epoxy floors, and I try to keep most of my tanks away from carpet because I am absolutely terrible at overfilling tanks when I'm doing water changes.
Oh, I forgot something actually. So now that it was already bad enough that I had a 180 overflow twice and another tank almost overflow while I was trying to fix that problem, I called my boss because I was like, the pump's bad. I need a new pump ASAP. Otherwise, the fish gonna die. And then we were talking about what kind of pump to get and if he can go actually pick it up real quick and bring it to the store. I was on the phone with him for 5 minutes. Like, I checked. I was on the phone with him for 5 minutes. And apparently, while I was on the phone with him, somebody walked into the store and I didn't hear it. I didn't notice it. Somebody walked in. And he left a bad Google review, a 1-star rating with bad customer service, no service. And also that I wasn't wearing a mask and standing in the back on the phone.
Oh, whatever.
I had my mask pulled down.
See, Iowa has finally got to the point that you're not like it's not like a citywide ordinance or anything to wear a mask. So a lot of places are loosening up, and I appreciate it because I'm sick of it.
I mean, I was wearing a mask just because I was on the phone with my boss and I thought I was by myself. I pulled the mask down a little bit because otherwise you can't hear people on the phone if they wear a mask. And he walked in there and he was so silent I didn't hear him. Walked out and left a bad review because I didn't greet him. And, and there was like 30 gallons of water on the floor while I was on the phone being like, I need a pump.
I mean, crap like that happens. Fish guy Nick said he was siphoning a 5-gallon container into 1-gallon jugs and forgot, ended up with 4 gallons soaking into the carpet. I wish 4 gallons was the most I'd ever spilt, but I would guess I've put at least 50 gallons on the floor at any given time.
I'm gonna have to say knock on wood. I haven't done nothing like that.
There's a shop that a friend of mine used to own down in Omaha, Nebraska. That on the side they had a big cube, like a 90-gallon cube saltwater reef set up as a display, and on the side of it they had marks for the number of times each person had overflowed it and spilled water all over the showroom floor.
See a bunch of people in chat talking about the mask. It's not necessarily I always wear the mask if I talk to a customer, but I was on the phone, assumed I was by myself, so I pulled it down so my boss could hear me better talking on the phone. And that was it. You know what I mean?
Right. So Craig says good day. Good day, Craig. Glad to have you here. And we actually had a couple Aussies. So last week we ran so long that we had a couple of the Aussies spill over from Blackie's stream because Blackie, he usually streams for quite a while, but even he gave up for the night and he stopped by. So tonight I'll probably tap out a bit earlier. So don't forget to go check out Dr. Black after we're done here. And, just show him a little love as a way to say thanks for stopping by because, there's only so much time through the week for different people to stream. And it's hard to not step on anybody. So I try to share some love and I try to cut it short some nights so that we can all go over there. And he bounced over here after he finished up. So that was appreciated. That was super nice of him. So here's the deal, guys. we talked about a couple horror stories or a couple mess ups so far. But the last couple streams I've had, I personally like I get off topic and I go off on tangents and I talk a lot about some things and I miss a bunch of questions. So I just wanted to give everybody a night, a little less structured, a little more hangout type, for you guys to throw some questions in the chat for us. And if you guys don't start throwing questions at us, I'll start throwing questions at you guys, and we'll see what you guys can come up with. So
At who? Skippers and me?
everybody. I've always got questions for people, but Rocco says he's got a question. Let's see what some people in the chat have. And I mean, it can be, if you want to talk about fish, we'll talk about fish. If you want to talk about plants, we'll talk about plants, freshwater, saltwater, shrimp. We'll make it happen.
I sent out a bunch of shrimp today.
Did you?
Yes.
So I did start yesterday. I shipped some plants for the first time. I looked at the weather. I sent out 5 boxes of plants, and the weather, I was shipping to Michigan, North Carolina, Colorado, Iowa, and California. And the weather, the lowest temps I saw was mid 30s at night, and the highs were 60 and up. So I think it's all damn near prime time to ship. Obviously there's still a couple delays with post offices and stuff, but we can't avoid that. But the weather is great for shipping plants and fish right now.
Supposedly we're gonna have a blizzard on Saturday.
A blizzard on Saturday.
Like
okay,
20 inches of snow.
You can take your negative news elsewhere, or I'm just gonna kick you off the stream tonight because
that's fake news.
I think I speak for most everybody that lives north of the Mason-Dixon here when I say that we've about had enough of the cold weather.
Well, I believe it when I see it, but they're talking about it in the news all over the place.
So Sean asked, Shell Dweller Sean asked, what's the next Shell Dweller species I'm getting? And I've talked to Sean about this, and I think I've sourced some. But I am looking at the Cunguinus myself. So I'll probably get those next. And I've got a couple other species in mind. I do like the Ocelots gold. I'm not sure if I want to deal with their attitude though. I've got a friend that's breeding them, and he's having to pull fry all the time because otherwise the parents, they're not. It's like your multis, they'll like colony breed or community breed pretty regularly, but the Ocelots don't seem to be so easygoing and forgiving.
Yeah, I heard the juveniles eat the fry.
Oh yeah, it's bad. He's struggling. So Rocco said, I had columnaris in the tank, lost 108 guppies, removed the substrate, hardscape, and plants. Can I reuse them, or should I scrap it all and start over?
Scrap it.
Ain't that one of the things where you want to burn the whole tank?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could. I'd say you have some options to attempt in the end. Like, I mean, it depends on how much you'd be losing if you just tossed it. To be honest, like if it's just if it's like a 20 long and it's $10 used or $20 new, and you had like some gravel in there, some cheap sand. I don't know. Safe bets to get rid of it. Otherwise, I would say you could run, like peroxide through the tank, stir things up and dump a bunch of peroxide in there. I know Dan from Dan's Fish over at Get Gills, after he quarantines his fish, he does medicate them. Then he moves them to a new tank. After he's moved them to an actual tank, he does run peroxide through his tanks to, kind of clear them out and nuke whatever might be left. So that's an option that you could try. If you have the space and time, you could set up that tank with a small group of fish and see how it goes for a while before you move more fish in there. So that's my 2 cents. Uh-oh. Broken tanks. All kinds of stories about broken tanks. Python
Yeah.
sink attachment split. I've actually had that happen. I had an old Python, and I've seen that too. It just sprays water everywhere, or you strip it out because you use like the brass adapter fitting to the sink as opposed to the plastic one, and you strip one side, and it just turns into a disaster. So Ray asked, "Where you at?" So I'm actually located in Iowa. Priscilla is in Colorado, not too far away from me, and Tom from Skippers is over in Pennsylvania. So we're all kind of dealing with pretty similar weather for the most part.
Better not be a blizzard.
Speaking of blizzards, Can 5015 said 20 inches to 5 feet of snow over Friday through Saturday. I don't know where you're at that you're getting 5 feet of snow. But no thanks. You can keep that. You must be high up in the mountains.
No, actually, they were saying Denver metro area.
5 feet? Get out of here.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if I should believe it.
So Can 5015, I don't think I've seen you here before. So welcome. Obviously, I'm Mike. Priscilla, Tom from Skippers is down there. Appreciate you stopping by. If you haven't, hit the old like button. Thumbs up are much appreciated. Subscribe if you'd like. We are at, I am at about 360 subscribers right now. So when we hit 400, we will do another giveaway. If you weren't here last week, Colin from Nylock G Aquatics did sponsor a giveaway, and we gave away some Thrive. So that was pretty good stuff. So if you didn't get a chance to check that out, go back, rewind, hit the live stream. It was long. I would say the first hour and a half was pretty solid content. After that, we kind of got into some chatter, but definitely worth a look if you're interested in planted tanks. Amanda May asked what my favorite fish is, and currently this is kind of my unicorn fish, and I've actually seen it pop up a couple times, and some of you may recognize it, some of you may not. But it is, let me see if I can find a good picture here.
Why are we doing Common Core math in the chat?
What's your favorite fish, Skippers?
Right now, excuse me, is my Corydoras. I have my longfin Platyodus ones.
So I would say right now, this is probably one of my favorite fish. I haven't kept it yet, but it's an Ivonocara atticata. They are giant jerks. They're not super common. I do see them fairly often. I think Tristan from Tristan's Tropical Fish has offered them once or twice. Otherwise, the last time I saw any in person was at Phil's shop up in Minneapolis at Tamed Waters. So that's a pretty sweet little fish. They do get, I'd say 4 to 5 inches and can be fairly aggressive. They are pretty tough to spawn, but someday I'd like to get some of these fish. Have you seen these have you guys got these at the shop, Priscilla, at all, or have you ever had them available?
No, I've never seen those available.
I really do like those.
They're pretty sweet.
Cool.
What's your favorite fish, Priscilla?
Fish I have or fish I want?
Oh, any fish.
Well, so, I mean, it's not a fish, but I like my peacock manta shrimp because he's special.
That doesn't answer the question.
Yeah, well, or fajako. It's fish I have, my favorite.
Okay.
But I would like to get a dragon eel, a Japanese dragon eel. Looks pretty cool.
So I remember, I think I showed you the pictures and videos of my buddies that he used to have.
The dragon eel? Oh,
yeah, the pair. He had a pair of them. He dropped big money for them. But so Can 5015 said that they're in Boulder. So they're like you're in your backyard. They're next door neighbor.
Yeah, person said, I bought fish from Exotic Aquatics. I guess it's one of my customers. Hi, I don't know who you are. But hi.
Rocco said sand, but lots of plants. Honestly, I would just ditch this. I would ditch the sand. Like, it's a safe bet. Sand is cheap. Like I said, up to you, but I would play it safe because it seems like camellinus worms aren't something that you see terribly often, but when you do, it is a giant pain in the neck to get rid of. So I guess that's what I do with that one.
Oh, the mailman.
The mailman.
Yeah, I know who he is.
Oh. Rocco said he bleached it and then followed it up with vinegar and hot water. I'd say put a small group of fish in there then and see what happens. You know, if you've obviously got a bunch of guppies handy, it's not going to hurt to throw a handful in there. I'm going to defer this to Priscilla. Fish guy Nick asked, is the salty shrimp remineralizer better than Dennerley Shrimp King salt?
Well, I'm loyal to Dennerley. I would say Shrimp King salt. But at the end, it doesn't matter. It's remineralizer. It both has the same effect, same kind of recipe. So it doesn't really matter.
It's probably something like, you know, like there's a bunch of different places, whether it's like GLA, so Greenleaf, or like Colin at Nylock. They both offer like dry ferts, right? It's like potassium nitrate, KNO3, is dry potassium nitrate. Like it's the same thing. So honestly, like the formula for Dennerley, like the Shrimp King salt versus the salty shrimp, probably isn't that different. And
I've used both, and it works.
The same thing for you. Hey, Connie. Connie said that she's from Frederick, Colorado. Not familiar with where that's at. But thanks
like
for stopping by.
Half an hour from the store.
Oh, so they've probably stopped in the shop too.
Yeah, he said he has a 90-gallon planted, and it's the mailman. I know who he is.
Connie?
Mm-hmm.
Connie is different
than
Can.
No. Can. Sorry.
Connie is from Frederick. Can is from Boulder.
Yeah, I just saw the orange in the orange colorblind.
Craig said, hey, from Nova Scotia. I think we have a couple Canucks that hang out here. Not too many. But thanks for stopping by. I haven't seen you around before, so we appreciate it. If you haven't done all the YouTube things, feel free to do so. There's a bunch of good people in the chat room here, and we would really appreciate if you showed everybody some love. And I bet if you start hitting subscribe on everybody's channels, you'll find that you get a bunch right away too, because most people here, pretty tight-knit group, and they'll just, as soon as they see that somebody, you know, tossed them a pineapple, they'll go ahead and repay the favor. Oh man. Alishan said they've got a wild group of 4 of the Ibonocaris. Tough fish to get going. F1 spawns. So it seems like Alishan and I have a lot of the same interests in fish. If I'm not mistaken, they said that they also have the Alcalapia alcalicus, which is the soda cichlid, which is another super cool, uncommon fish that I've showed on one of the streams once. I don't see a whole lot of questions. There's a lot of chatter. I haven't seen a ton of questions.
Not really.
There's one.
Hey, I was going to ask you a question.
I'm listening.
When are we going to meet up at Dan's Fish?
I've got us busy spring right now. So maybe we can look at something for later in the summer.
Right.
Crowntail asks, what type of sediment pre-filter is used for the first stage of a water filtration system? They have the 3M MicroClean RT 5 micron rigid depth filter. Any advice? So are you looking at like just an RO unit? You have like some other type of filtration system? That would be my first question.
Is it like a carbon filter system?
Right. Like without seeing what you're working with, I honestly couldn't tell you. And to be honest, I run a 5-stage RO setup from Bulk Reef Supply myself, and I just use whatever order they're in. They've got like carbon, and then a sediment filter, and then I think it's a second sediment filter, and then it goes through your RO and then your DI. I just use whatever they sell kits that have like the whole media set together. So I just run that. So I'd be I'm not sure exactly what you're working with, so if you give us some more details, I can probably help you out a little bit better, I think. More shell dweller talk. There you go. Amanda asked how many. Oh, Connie said they've been to Exotic Aquatics.
You seem to have a lot of my customers in your stream.
Good. How'd they get here?
I don't know.
Ken5015 said in the chat that he got you from one of Dan's fishing streams.
Really? I've been busy Wednesday nights the past couple weeks, and I haven't been in one of Dan's streams for a while. I gotta get over there one of these days. Amanda asked, how many fish tanks do I have? I currently own about 60. However, I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 set up at the moment. I'm working. I've got to rearrange the basement in order to build the new fish room. So I'm working on that, and then you'll start seeing some videos of actually building the room and setting some tanks up. Sandy Dowdy's here. I knew we had a couple Canucks. Welcome, Sandy. Hope you're having a good night. Can used to live in Pittsburgh, so not far from old Tom there.
Sorry about that.
Ooh, I saw
the cities.
Myrtle's talking about Pseudocrinolabris philander. Now we're talking. So I'm not usually into, like main lake, like the Rift Lake cichlids. But when you get into like the riverine stuff, like the Pseudocrinolabris, now we can talk. So like, I had a buddy that bred the Pseudocrinolabris multicolor Victoriae, which are a little more common and easier to find. It's the Egyptian mouth rooter. And it's a pretty peaceful fish for what it is. Fairly easy to spawn. Pretty good color on them. Here's the philander that Riddle was talking about. If I can share this quick for those of you that aren't familiar. So the Pseudocrinolabris all look fairly similar. That's the philander from Aquarium Glosser. The Egyptian mouth rooter, so the Pseudocrinolabris multicolor Victoriae, have a little less yellow, or I'm sorry, more yellow, less red, and kind of brighter blue lips. And then, of course, the Nicolsi used to be more popular in the hobby. Unfortunately, it seems like you don't see them very much, and it looks like kind of like an African version of a Geophagus. So pretty neat. I'd like to have the Nicolsi myself someday, but they are getting harder to find. It seems like there's not many females out there, mostly males. People don't want to let go of the females. Ray said they're out. Have a good night, Ray. Thanks for stopping by. John Oliver asked if there's any Pleco lovers in here tonight.
I got leopard flock plecos.
Were you able to get some males and females? Are you going to try to spawn them?
Yeah, it's 1 female and 2 males.
Okay, that's a pretty good group then.
Yep. Trying.
So, and are they old enough yet, or you got to grow them out for a bit?
No, they're like 2.5 years old.
The term pineapple makes Danny think of swingers. I don't know where that started. Apparently, somebody determined that the YouTube algorithms don't like it when you say sub in chat. So people started just using pineapple emojis. I'm not sure where that's from.
We started a check valve one too.
Yeah, well, that happened. Fish Guy Nick asked if I game on the side just for fun here and there. Not too often. I play like Warzone, a little bit of League here and there, Civs, Nothing too crazy, really. But yeah, just a little bit. This is actually the Hyperx Revolver headset. Got it on sale. I think they were releasing a new model or something. I got it on sale, but it seems to work pretty well. Everyone's favorite Plico. So mine currently is the 264, which is the Sultan Plico, which seemed like it recently picked up some popularity when Dan over at Dan's Fish started offering up on his shop. But it's a fish that's been around for a while. I used to know a guy here in Iowa that's bred them, but if you're not familiar, there they are. Pretty neat looking fish. So again, I think most of the time they're gonna run you anywhere from $45 and up. So pretty hard to find. Kind of tough to spawn. I think Tom from TM Aquatics has a group. I don't know if he's had any luck spawning them at all. But he's pretty good at spawning plecos. So if he's had some trouble, you know, they're not super easy. Can said Blue Phantoms. Do you have a favorite pleco, Tom?
I mean, I really like my 2 clown plecos I have, but whenever I watch one of Dan's videos, one of his, like 30-minute one showing all the fish he had, I kind of like them longfin one, bristlenose too.
Okay. Were they standards or were they albinos or reds or?
No, I think them ones were like calicos.
Okay.
But there are just so many plecos out there. For me, it'd be hard to choose a favorite one because I think they're all
Right.
unique in their own way.
I think that's the problem with being like if you're interested in Plecostomus, there's so many out there to collect. And unfortunately with Plecostomus, the more you spend on them, the less like you are to ever see them because
Yeah.
that's what they do is they don't come out often. So Rocco said nuggets, zebras, clowns, bristle noses.
Yeah,
Riddle said,
the gold nugget's nice. What they got is it they call it snowball?
yep. So snowball's used loosely. The way that Plecostomus naming works, it's kind of goofy. So it used to be the L201 was referred to as the snowball, and then for a while the 201 was referred to as the Orinoco Angel. I think they're the same fish with a different name. Some people have debated based on collection points or the number of spots and the actual pattern. But they're pretty cool. 201s. They've been around for a long time. You used to be able to get them a lot cheaper than you can now. Somehow inflation decided to schwack the fish market.
Oh my, it's ruined so much right now. It's not even funny. Like
It's
I tell
tough.
you, if I had a 300-gallon tank, I would get a watermelon pleco.
A watermelon. So
Oh yeah,
pretty good.
A lot of fish are hard to get right now.
So I'm working on some fish. I don't know if I think I'm gonna pull the trigger on them. It's gonna be a pricey group of fish, but I think I'm gonna make it happen. So stay tuned. It will be a Plecostomus of some sort, and I think I'm gonna make that happen. So
I thought you were gonna say Altum Angels.
no, I'll get Leopoldi Angels before I get Altums, unless I get Altums stupid cheap.
But didn't you say somebody from your local club has some?
Up in Minnesota, they're getting some. They've had Altums spawn. So if you're on the Get Gills Facebook group, Steve to Signant is from Minnesota, and he's got a few pairs of Altums, and he said they've been spawning, but he just hasn't had a ton of luck getting fry. I'll drop the if you're interested in looking at or just interested in meeting some people and talking fish, I did drop the Get Gills Facebook link in the chat for you there. asked if I could work at Priscilla's store, what position would I take?
Please take mine.
I have no interest in working at a fish store, to be honest. Like, it's just I enjoy working on tanks as long as they're my own tanks. I don't want to work on tanks that are somebody else's and take care of fish that I'm just gonna give to somebody. So I wouldn't work at the fish store, not unless it was just like, yeah, not super interested. Like, I mean, I sell fish and I sell plants and I sell shrimp, but I don't want to do it for work where it's something that I have to rely on for income.
I thought it'd be neat as like a part-time job or something.
It's different.
So,
yeah, I'm sure.
John Oliver asked if anybody has L134s. Priscilla's got a group.
Yes.
So
I'm gonna try as hard as I can.
I don't think they're super tough, actually. If you look at Tom from TM, talk to him. I know he's spawned them fairly often and moves a bunch of fish. Alishan, going back to the Sucre nickel sai. Yep, they can be nasty.
Ain't the leopard frogs? Aren't those the ones you want to keep at like 80 degrees?
Yeah, but you gotta kind of need live food and good caves and patience and everything and time, which I work at a fish store.
So you don't have the time part or the patience part?
The time is really hard to find sometimes.
So we got this. These comments are from a few minutes ago, I suppose. But Myrtle said that they were looking for nickel sai, eventually gave up. So that's happened with a lot of fish in the hobby. Over the years, things come and go in waves, and so there's certain fish that get super popular and are fairly hard to like, I don't know, come by, I guess. There's certain fish that get really popular and then everybody has them. So since everybody has them, then nobody wants them anymore. So they literally like disappear from the hobby for a while. Like, there's especially like, I think some of like the peacocks, every like in the Midwest, everybody had them for a while. And then nobody wanted them anymore, so everybody got rid of them. And now like people are starting to want them again, but nobody has them.
Yeah.
I think what a lot of the fish is from the few years I've been doing it, I've been noticing like trends. Oh, this is something new we found. It's cool, and then people just stop getting it.
Okay.
I mean, Africans were really popular, and then nano tanks are popular now. I mean, it changes all the time.
I think what happens is people like to look for, something different to try.
Yes.
Oh, better say hi, Patty.
And there's also a lot of people that are influenced by influencers, and then sometimes I can literally tell that some bigger YouTuber made a video about a certain type of fish because everybody comes in that 1 week and asks about that specific fish.
I mean, is it cool? Yeah. Is it kind of unfortunate that things happen like that? Also, yeah. Just my 2 cents. Alishan said they're trying Telegramma Brichardi and Wallacechromis signatus, the Calenti collection. So Wallacechromis, if you like Crebensis, you'll probably like the Wallacechromis. There's some cool ones in there. They kind of resemble a crib. There's something that I've just recently seen in the hobby the past couple years. I know Phil. I almost got a group from Phil. But they're pretty neat.
Phil always has cool fish.
So they get some good colors. They kind of behave, I think, fairly similar to a crib. Maybe Alishan can kind of double check me on that one. And then he said the Hemichromis genus. So I'm not big on the Hemichromis. I've bred the Exul, and that's probably the only one I'll keep for the near future. And then I bred them, and they they spawned so fast that I got rid of them right away because it wasn't something that I could move fast enough or liked enough to keep for a long term. Alishan likes the 262s. I believe that's the Queen Arabesque, isn't it?
Never heard of that one.
That one looks really cool. I like that one.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
Now I found another one I like.
So I think they look more like 26. Okay, so the 260 is the Queen Arabesque. The 262 is the spotted, I guess. And for those of you that, if you just want to check out catfish or if you want to look up something new, the Planet Catfish is a pretty good database that you can use to kind of check things out. They do have a lot of breeding logs and stuff in here. So not only do people submit, pictures of their fish, that's a good looking piece right there.
Yeah, that's nice.
You can see like typical cave spawner, and then you can open up these breeding reports. So like Plico Crazy said that they spawned them, so you could log in, and it's free. You just have to create a login, and then you can read, everything that they were willing to share about how they bred them. So that's a pretty neat feature.
Pretty good. That's a good website.
If you don't use Planet Catfish, I do suggest checking it out. I see somebody, like you said, Tom, is in the chat. So I'll just wave, otherwise she'll get mad at me.
Oh, you're not going to say her name?
Oh, no.
I already did, so I'm not going to get in trouble.
So S brought up the point, Amazon is so big, imagine all the plecos we haven't seen yet. Yeah, and that's pretty awesome. Imagine, as cool it is to think about that, on the other hand, it's pretty sad to think about the ones that we may never get to see. Just because, like, obviously mining's picking up in that area. A lot of export restrictions are in place, so there's a lot of fish that we may never see. So that's pretty unfortunate. But yeah, there's tons out there, and that's where people talk about not wanting to hybridize Plecostomus, but if you look at the Amazon and their environment, there's so many opportunities to different species to interact and potentially hybridize that. Amanda asked, why are plecos numbered? So that's let me see.
Somebody answered that.
Did they? Probably Alishan or somebody super. This one.
It's not.
So more or less, most Plecostomus will receive just an L number. So L meaning the lower Caridae, and then a number just associated with that particular species, because they haven't necessarily been named or accurately described yet. So you'll see like L134 has come to be known as the leopard frog Plecostomus. L264 is the sultan. A lot of them just never get common names. Like I don't think 397s have a common name. So still like 260 is the Queen Arabesque. But yeah, the L number is just a way to identify that species that hasn't necessarily been properly described yet. And a lot of people just stick to it because it's simple. Common names sometimes you'll hear multiple common names used for different fish. And Cories are actually the same way. So Cories have a C number or a CW number.
And they have to do DNA tests and all that stuff in order to name them and get the right catching locations. There's quite a process involved.
It's pretty intense, and I'll see if I can find. I did watch a video by somebody that actually talked really like in depth about that. I'll see if I can find it while we're screwing around here.
I know Gary Lang. He had, not in depth like what you're talking about, Mike, but he has talked about a little bit whenever he would go do his collecting and stuff for rainbow fish.
Okay.
Whenever they found something new, the process of doing it.
Right.
I'm like, that's just nuts. But I get it, so that you can introduce it into the hobby or whatever, or just say, look, I discovered a new species.
Right. Yep. And then if you look at, so if you're into killifish at all, a lot of killifish, even within the same species, will have a series of numbers, which is a date. It's it, I'm not a big killie guy. I know a little bit about them, but you'll see like a species name and then a series of numbers behind it, which is associated with a certain date that a trip was made and a certain location point. So there are different species that genetically they're quite similar, but they do display different coloration because they were collected in different spots. So killifish naming and stuff is actually pretty intense too.
There was a killifish that I came across that I thought was pretty cool. I think it was a blue one. Oh, I'm trying to think the name of it.
Garden
I
Ray?
had it. Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Was it pretty big?
Yeah, it was the bigger size one.
This is what I'm
Blue and
thinking.
reddish.
When people say blue killifish, this is kind of the first thing that comes to mind for me is the blue galaris. That's Fungula panchex. Show steady.
No, that's not what it is.
There's also, if something smaller, the Rickovii gets kind of blue.
Probably
there's
the
so
garden ray. Everybody loves the garden ray.
There's so many species out there.
Yeah.
That you literally like just giving a color doesn't say much. That's what I thought, Alishan. I thought they were. I know they're closely related to Pelvichromis. So Alishan pointed out that the Wallacea used to be considered part of the Pelvichromis genus until recently. And as you can see, like I showed you in those pictures, that they are pretty distinctly different. Deborah Sanders, hey, what's up? So glad you're here. Terry's Tropical Tanks, what's shaking?
What's up, Terry?
You got 32 people watching.
Alishan, yep, DATS started the L number system. That's correct. I'm trying to think. I watched a certain video. I believe the guy specialized in L397s or 6s. Can't remember. I'll have to find it, but it was pretty interesting. Bottom Billers asked, are corridors a C or CW number? I can't remember. So they use both. So there are some corridors that are just a C number, some are a CW. I don't personally know the difference myself. I'm sure some Google would pop that up fairly easily, but I don't personally know. Somebody that would know, a good guy to talk to would be like Ian Fuller, is pretty good with corries.
Or Eric Bodrock.
Eric Bodrock or Chris Nelson from Shooter's Fish Room. He does a bunch of stuff with corries too. Terry's mentioned once a pleco gets a scientific name, the L number is supposed to be retired. It's supposed to be. I don't know how often that actually happens. Out of laziness, or people just get used to it. And like I said, that's with I think the 201 has technically been used for multiple similar species. And until those species have been named, that's why you see like some people refer to it as like the snowball or the Angel Orinoco, where I think for a while it might have been the Inspector. Fairly similar fish, but they were proven to be genetically different. Rocco asked if it would be okay to mention the t-shirt fundraiser. I'm personally unaware of the t-shirt fundraiser, Rocco, but you are more than welcome.
I actually watched the video today. He's making a t-shirt that says Fish Family in the front, and in the back it says Remembering Aquarium Cop. And all the proceeds go to that fundraiser that was made for Aquarium Cop's girls.
Yeah. So that would if somebody has, like the link for that or something, I would be more than happy to share that. And I actually,
It's on his video he made.
I think this is it. Trying to see. There it is. So I'll drop the link up. Man, Murdell beat me to it. But check the chat. I thought I was doing so well, but Murdell just too fast. Literally, like that's by seconds. The timestamp is exactly the same.
Let's see, he probably had that copy and pasted waiting for you to answer.
You were cheating.
Nothing wrong with that, though.
See, I get too busy yakking.
I think he learned from Candy.
Somebody asked, Fish Guy Nick asked, what size tank is behind you, Skipper?
Oh, that's a 55, bud.
Yep. So, Terry blew out the lower unit of his boat today.
Oh.
Yep. You know what boat stands for, man. Sorry to hear that. Yeah. It's getting to be the season out here in the Midwest where people are starting to, break their boats out from hiding. So it won't be long before people are tearing lower units up out here. So I feel your pain. I haven't done it myself, but I feel your pain. I know how it goes. That stuff, for a lower, I mean, bust out another 1,000. That's an understatement.
Yeah. I know the feeling. Me and my dad have a pontoon we take care of.
Yeah.
There's angelfish in it, 2 pictus catfish, 2 corridoras, 1 single danio, zebra, longfin, and 4 true Siamese alligators.
And I mean, I know the story behind that tank, but do you mind sharing kind of the story about what's going on with that?
Yeah, I can. In 2018, a very good friend of mine passed away, and I'm the godfather of his children, and it was his tank. And he originally had cichlids in it, like he really like your African cichlids. Before he passed away, I don't know, they all died on him, so he just let it sit. So after he passed away, I went to his wife and I asked if I could have it. And I really had to convince her to give it to me because she didn't want to let it go for obvious reasons. And I told her, I said, I'm going to dedicate this tank to him. Part of the background of it is a picture of him. He liked to go fishing. He was holding a bass fish, like the memorabilia cards or whatever they call them. And I have it taped to it. So that thing is what got me into this all over again.
So I mean, there's a lot of reasons that people keep tanks, right? And sometimes they're for something that you might not necessarily think about.
Well, I could tell you, for me, after I got it, where it used to sit was in my living room beside my chair, and when you catch yourself watching TV and then you just look over at it and forget what you're watching.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was just good for me mentally and everything else because I have PTSD and stuff, and it's very calming.
Yeah, and I mean, I think you'll find, due to affair, like, I mean, things that have been going on the past 20 years. There's a lot of people out there that'll tell you that that's why they keep tanks, is because they've had some experiences overseas maybe, or they knew somebody that was involved, and a tank kind of helps them keep their sanity and gives them something to focus on and sometimes get their mind off things. They're especially, like, I know some guys get big into reef tanks because of it, because it gives them, with reef tanks, there's a little more attention to detail and a lot more numbers. So it's actually good for some people to sit and focus on those numbers and get those details dialed in and everything.
It also helps them, get in, helps them focus their mind because it probably go and scatter or whatever. funny story is I was on one of my I get Zoom meetings with my shrink. She saw it behind me and kept staring at it, and she goes, "Well, you're welcome." And I said, she goes, "I can write you a prescription to get some more tanks." And said, "Yeah, but the wife has to approve it."
Funny how that works.
Especially reef tanks with a lot of corals are super relaxing to like anybody, just because the coral's doing this back and forth motion,
Mm-hmm.
and that's
Yeah.
usually really calming.
Unless it's a tank full of sticks. Some people get into the SPS.
Yeah,
It's all
but even the SPFs, if the polyps extend, they
yeah.
will move as well. So
So Amanda said, "Thanks for sharing your story." Yep. That's one that, you know, I'm pretty good friends with Tom, and I've talked to him about it a couple times, and it's something that it's a story. It's a good example to kind of bring that up. Everybody's like, well, some people keep tanks to like try to make money, and some people can't keep tanks for the kids, and but don't forget that there are people out there that keep tanks for, you know, some other reasons that help keep them moving.
speaking of that, I'm actually setting up a glowfish tank.
Glowfish.
Hmm.
For your kid?
I did that for my daughter. She wanted it.
Because Aquarium Cop loved his glowfish tank with his Ocelots, and I just happened to have this fluval flex I can set up, and my son will enjoy it as well. And it's just kind of like, I remember him having this colorful light next to the tank, that little disco light, while he was on the stream pointing at the glow.
I remember seeing that. Yeah.
Funny.
I think he had some music going with it too.
Yeah, he was a goofball, and I just figured I'll make a goofball tank.
Yeah, there you go. So Alishan knew exactly who I was talking about, and you've probably seen this video. But when we were talking about L numbers, I couldn't remember the name of the guy that I was thinking of. But Chris Biggs used to be the mighty Gonopodium. Now he's the mad aquarist, I think. Actually did an interview with him, and so that's Andreas Townke. I'm not sure the pronunciation, but he gave it a multi-part series, his Aquatic Masters series, where he talks about the way the L number system kind of works a little bit. So thanks for bringing that up, Alishan. Like I said, I just couldn't think of the name, but it's definitely worth a watch. And if you don't follow Chris Biggs, super smart dude, another Canuck. But he comes down to like the OCA, so the Ohio Cichlid Association's extravaganza. He's got some super cool videos. Like you said, he does the Aquatic Masters series, which is pretty neat. A couple of his videos, he did one on judging. So I've been to fish shows. I haven't personally participated in a fish show, but he goes through like, you know, the details of what they're actually looking for when they're judging certain fish, and you kind of have to be able to judge a fish even if you don't know that species very well. But he goes into that, so it's cool to see the behind the scenes stuff from fish shows and like actual competitions.
I've
so check out.
seen one of those, and it blew my mind.
Yeah.
Especially, it was a guppy one. I think I watched. I was like, "What?" It's crazy how detailed that they are with that type of stuff in those fish shows.
And here's the link for that one. Biggs has.
It's just they try to set the standards high, so not like a lot of people that actually put a lot of effort in will compete or participate.
And they go into like some weird, like if there's one little scale that looks like it's out of place, and they just look for super awesome stuff. Patrick said Chris is a crazy guy, but so smart and very appreciative of older aquarists. He is. That dude is nuts. There's a reason he goes by the Mad Aquarist, and if you've ever seen him, he looks like a fun time. Unfortunately, I haven't had the pleasure of meeting him yet. But if there's one dude that would probably be a lot of fun to hang out with, I bet Biggs is a good time. He does a series where he does like hot seat, and he was at a fish show or fish convention a couple years back, and he just started pulling people like over onto this couch and interviewing them. So he did like King and Queen cichlids. I think he did Rachel O'Leary. But super funny dude. A little bit crazy, but super smart. Amanda got into fish when I was 8 years old. My mother would bring me to the babysitter's house. The woman watching me didn't have a TV, so she would sit me in front of her fish tank. Yep, something about fish just lures kids in and sucks you in. So, you said, Tom, when you were younger you had fish. Or you kind of
whenever I was
got out and
teenager, I think it was.
Okay.
It was a 29-gallon actually.
Okay. 29-gallon was for the most of the people that are here probably watched my streams before and kind of know a little bit about me, but a 29-gallon was also the first tank that I had. It was my dad's, and I took that over. And he set it up. He wasn't super into fish, so it just kind of happened, and whatever was going on with it happened. And I was 12, 13 at the time, but I quickly took that over from him, and that's when the bug hit me, and now I have way too many tanks, and I own a bunch, but I'll probably get rid of a bunch of them soon. Once I just want to get my room set up and into place, and then kind of start sorting through the ones that I don't want.
Why did you get them all?
So I had a friend of mine. So one of the benefits of joining a club and meeting people in the club is that you get to meet people that have an abundance of fish tanks. And there's an older gentleman he had 50 or so tanks. And he decided that he wanted to spend some more time with his grandkids, so he was getting out. So he offered me his whole fish room for a great deal, and that's how I set up my little budget build, the fish closet downstairs that I made a short video about that I'm sure most of you have watched. So I took a lot of them, and I may use them all. I may not. I'm undecided yet. Uh-oh. Patrick's age is showing 1957 with a 5-gallon tank.
You know what I like to listen is to the, like somebody like him, that the different stages that stuff went through, like filtration and everything. It's amazing.
So, I mean, there's a lot of, and the majority of it is more recent stuff, but there's a lot of history just to aquariums and stuff.
Patty's putting you in a spot.
I'm not talking to her right now. Deborah asked a question. What is the calcium level needed for cherry shrimp?
Wow, so you don't need a specific calcium level. I mean, if you use shrimp minerals, like your general hardness, carbonate hardness is right for the shrimp, then you should therefore have enough calcium levels and whatnot too if you feed the shrimp specific foods. Like, I never measure like the calcium levels.
So I've kept cherry shrimp in mixed RO water. I've kept it in tap water. I don't really test it, to be honest. They're pretty flexible little critters.
Mm-hmm. As long as they molt and whatnot, they're good.
Yeah. So Patty asked what the giveaway is tonight.
That's why I said she put you in the spot.
So I can answer that for you.
I can answer that. Something away, Tom.
Yeah, Mike's knowledge. That's as good as it's going to get tonight, Patty.
Mike's wisdom.
I was going to donate an evening with Priscilla at the next Aquashella.
What?
That's what we'll give away. One lucky winner. One lucky winner tonight gets
Wait.
an
How?
evening with Priscilla at Aquashella 2021.
Actually, that's not nothing new. Like 3 Aquashellas ago, we would people were being what do you call it? Auctioned off for like an
So,
hour.
so you're experienced.
No, I didn't participate. It was like the more famous YouTubers that were being given away.
So it's your time to shine. So
And
in approximately 10 minutes, we'll do a drawing, and the winner gets an evening with Priscilla at Aquashella.
I think that'd be torture.
what, for the winner or for me?
The winner.
I don't think anybody's gonna participate.
So Dragon Layer brought up, a lot of people breed fish. Dragon Layer bred fish because he wanted the master breeder plaque. That's one thing that some people may or may not know about is the Breeders Award Program, which most clubs have something in set up for, more or less a point system and a reward system for those people that are able to breed different fish. And then you'll submit a small group of whatever fish you bred and raised to be auctioned off, and it kind of benefits the club a little bit. And then at the end, you get so many points based on how difficult it is to breed that fish. And at the end of it, you get a plaque. So if you guys watch Bentley Pasco, he's talking about making an online horticultural award program, which is just the same thing with plants.
Hey, I'm good as long as I can do art.
As long as you can do art? No, you don't get to do art on your date. Like, that's the whole point, is that they have you, like, your full attention.
So can you tell me what number you're gonna pick so I can send it to Patty so we can just get this over with? So I can send Patty the number and spend the evening with her.
Deborah said 6.8 to 7 pH, KH at 30, GH at 300, so 4 and 21. On a Tetra strips, it shows very hard water. I honestly think that water would be just fine. I definitely wouldn't add anything extra. As
Hardness is high though.
As far as like I wouldn't add any of the GH or KH. It's fairly high. You could cut it with some RO. But honestly, I've kept Neos in liquid rock, and they've done, just fine. So I think you'd be okay. I wouldn't try to raise it any, Deborah.
The general hardness is pretty high at 21. So, I mean, if they molt and still have shrimplets, don't mess with it. If they have issues, I would try to actually lower it a little bit.
Bottom Roller said they'd love to get a Master Breeders Award, but there are just too many fish. It depends. Like, you can get it. There's some debate about some of the programs. I mean, depending on what you're into, you can get it without breeding a ton of fish, as long as they're harder to get fish, etc. And you don't have to keep them long. I mean, you can, like guppies, you could buy some guppies and have them throw fry, and you donate the fry back into the auction and submit them for your BAP, and then you just sell the parents too. Some clubs have more strict rules on it. Some clubs have pretty loose rules.
And did you know things can get out of hand quick in competitions like that too? Because I remember Aquatic Experience. There is the International Shrimp Competition. sponsored by Dinnerland.
Mhm.
And the winning shrimp came from were $3,000 a shrimp, and it was
Wow.
4 shrimp. And those 4 shrimp got stolen at the end of the show.
I remember that. That was in Chicago, wasn't it?
What?
No, that was in New Jersey.
New
Yeah.
Jersey.
They went. How many shrimp was? They went for $3,000
Each,
Yeah.
and it was 4.
each.
It gets crazy, man.
What?
Yeah.
Is that because they were like show shrimp, or that's just
They were
nuts?
really
I don't
nice.
care. That's crazy. That's ridiculous. That's just.
It-
I would have
But-
stolen too. Damn it. That's just dumb.
What I was trying to say is they got snagged by somebody.
So a lot of the fish shows, like the killifish shows and the guppy shows, you can mail in your entry, and then they'll just auction it off, and they'll send you your cut at the end of the show. So you don't even get your fish back. You mail it to them, they display it and everything, they sell it at the end, they give you a little cut, and if you win, you win.
There was speaking of that guppy thing, it just popped in my head. There was a well, Jess from Maine's did a live stream last night with man, Pat's Fish Aquariums. He's from the UK and he was doing that. He does a lot of them shows, and I think he judged them also. And he was doing one before COVID and got hung up in it. Almost got stuck there in the country.
Really?
So yeah, so and he said I had to just leave my fish there and go home. I said that would suck.
I mean, it happens. What do you do?
And that dude seemed pretty knowledgeable about it too. I was gonna check. I forgot to check him out about seeing when Murdu just did it, but I think he puts all that stuff on his YouTube channel. You could that'd probably be another one if you were interested into show stuff.
Yeah, that'd be interesting stuff. So Priscilla Crowntail asked, do you use pH and TDS digital meters? Any recommendations? How often do you need to recalibrate them? And can you use bottled water instead of distilled?
I use a TDS meter, and I use RODI water that's at 0 with if I use the powder, but I do buy that TDS solution. And you have to bring it up to a certain temperature, and then it reads the right TDS. And I calibrate it about once a month.
Oh, really? I might do mine like once a year.
I don't use a pH meter because I don't test my pH at all.
I think pH is probably, opinion only, the most overrated, overhyped water parameter on the face of the planet.
I mean, I know what substrate I'm using. I'm using a remineralized RO water, and I'm putting Indian almond leaves and that kind of stuff in there. I know what my pH is without testing it.
I just don't care what it is. It doesn't make a difference to me.
With certain things, it matters, but it really depends on what you go for.
So Deborah asked how she could safely lower her KH. Was it KH? GH? She's not seen any babies yet, so you could slowly mix in like some RO water, Deborah. Next time you do like a water change, if it's for example, if it's a 10-gallon tank, you usually use, maybe you do, for example, 50% water changes. So instead of using 5 gallons of whatever your source, your tap water is, maybe use 3 gallons of tap water, 2 gallons of RO, and that'll bring it down, and just see where you're at after that.
Do it like 10% at a time with the shrimp.
Yep. So Bottom Rollers and Riddle are talking about the Master Aquatic Horticulturist. Again, like I said, that's the program. Obviously, there's tons of those programs around, just depending on what club you're in. But Bentley Pasco has taken the time to try to make an online version so that everybody could kind of keep it in one place. Because right now, So like if you're in Seattle, you might be in GSAS, so you'll submit all your stuff to GSAS. But then when you move, it's kind of hard to submit any new entries to GSAS because you might be gone. So most of the time, a lot of the programs require you to actually submit like an actual plant or fish if it's BAP. So since you're pretty far away, maybe you might start over in a new program. So when I was in Arizona, I lived in Tucson. I was a member of the Southwest Aquatic Society, so I hit Master Aquatic Horticulturist the first time there. So what happens is you run through the different levels, you max out your points, and then you start over, and you're Master Horticulturist 2 the second time around, 3 the third time around, whatever. But then when you move, like I hit Master Aquatic Horticulturist there, and then I moved, so it doesn't really make sense for me to ship stuff back. So I'm not currently in a program. But if Bentley is able to set up, this online one, however he chooses to do so, if he can get it working, that would be something that you could continue to be a part of and participate in, regardless of where you lived. Murdo gave a good point. If you're after Master Aquatic Horticulturist, so more or less you get points for propagating plants. Easy plants like your guppy grass, whatever, might be worth 5 points. Something harder like pogo stem and helpheri might be worth 10 points. And then, like Myrtle said, if you can flower something, it's like if you get Limnophylla aromatica to flower, you might get 15 or 20 points for getting something to flower. So you can get quite a number of points based off a single plant.
My club doesn't has a program.
They don't have a HAP or a BAP?
They don't. They only have a breeders program.
Okay. And is it similar to BAP at all, or?
Kind of, yeah, I think so. I never participated, so I wouldn't know.
John's out. Hope you have a good night, John. Thanks for stopping by. Always a pleasure having you guys around. I'm just skimming the chat. Greg, the guppy guy here is here. What's up, Greg? Hope you're doing well, man. Thanks for hanging out. Bottomdwellers asked how hard is pogo stem and helpheri. Once it settles in, it's not too tough. I don't know. I tried a tissue culture of it once, and just because of this, I think largely because of the substrate that I used, it was hard to plant intro to plant, so it didn't do well. So if you can get, half a dozen crowns from somebody that are decent size, it should take off pretty quick and shouldn't be too hard to grow. You can grow it with or without CO2. Obviously, any plant under the sun is going to grow better if you have CO2. So something to consider, but it's not too tough at all. I have the red version in my 125, and obviously it's going to be a low growing carpeting plant most of the time. If you do have, if you're more in the medium light range, it can actually grow pretty tall and become a pretty good sized plant. Crowntail said, Priscilla, I got my first pothos plant today. It's about a foot long with about 5 leaves potted in soil. What soil medium would you recommend for fast growth so I can evaluate, have enough in tanks?
Something that's really airy, like try to add like perlite to it so it doesn't like is super saturated. You can use any potting soil, just make sure it's not super dense.
Right. So question for you, Tom. Now that you're kind of getting back into things, you've been back into fish tanks for a little bit now. What's something that you knew and helped you the second time around compared to the first time around?
No, I did not understand that. So you talking about what I knew back then? Did it help me now?
No. What's something that you didn't know, your first round of keeping fish that you do know now that's super beneficial?
Well, you have to strip the whole stinking tank down and scrub the substrate, because that's what I used to do. Whenever it's funny. I would take all the fish out in a bucket with the tank water, and I would literally take all the water out. I'd carry that 29-gallon outside, hose it out. That's how I cleaned the substrate, and take it back in, fill it up, then dump them in with their, like the water that they were in. Yeah. There's just so much that I have learned that I didn't even do it back then.
And is that stuff? Is that stuff that you learned online, or I guess like what resource did you use to find that information and kind of?
Oh, pretty much YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah, whenever I started watching, or no, actually, it was my local fish store about the whole water change thing. That's
Okay.
what that was.
Actually,
But now other stuff like plants and everything else was from YouTube. I knew nothing about them because I had all the plastic plants, the artificial everything.
Right.
a lot of people that get into the hobby, like their first tank, I know from customers, they literally think when they clean the tank, they have to clean the whole thing. I don't know where it's coming from, but
no, it's in your head that you do it that way, because when you let it go for a while, you get all that algae and stuff on the glass, and you just go in there. I mean, I only use paper towels and just water. I knew not to use chemicals because I used to fish, so.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just in your mind. That's how you clean. Because
Right.
there was nobody then that told me how to do it. I just I'll figure it out for myself.
Okay. So, I think it's nice to have, like you said, like initially you're like, well, I got a bunch of it off YouTube, which there is some good information on YouTube. Unfortunately, there's a lot of bad information out there. So,
yeah.
Well, I didn't just use one source.
right, and that's the trick.
The trick that I use is what I used whenever I was trying to fix lawnmowers. If there was something that I was just stumped with, I would type it into the search, and then you got we'll say 4 different videos. Well, I watched all 4. Whatever was the same as what I used.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's kind of what I did now. But then whenever I got deeper into live streaming, oh, that's pretty cool. When I got deeper into live streaming, then that's how I found out where you got the good information, and there's also the bad out there.
Okay.
That was a cool octopus.
So,
Speaking of that, I got a question for you, Priscilla. Because I saw something about it in the chat. Well, it was probably whenever we first started. Something about you doing art for 2 hours and then ripped it up on the stream Saturday.
Yeah. Yeah, I did that once. Everybody got so mad at me. I think I was sitting there doing art for 2 hours, like sketching out something. I was doing the Amazon research. No, the Aquashella poster. And if I make the Aquashella poster, I usually make it every time, and then Jason prints it, and then the YouTubers use it to sign it so people can take it home. So I'm trying to set the standards for that a little higher, because I know about 3,000 people are going to have that poster. And I drew something for like 2 hours, and I just didn't like it. And then I mean, trash. And everybody just lost their minds. It was funny.
So not necessarily like artwork related, but so if you watched my unboxing last week I rocked the KG Tropicals shirt on the last stream, but tonight
Ooh, you got Dave's shirt.
I got the aquariumthoughts.com red tail cat shirt, which I'll share in the link below over in the chat, and then I will also share Dave's channel. Pretty sweet little t-shirt though, and what was it? I think it's $19.99, and apparently Dave accepts Bitcoin now.
Yes.
What?
I don't know how Bitcoin works, but apparently that's a thing.
He fallen into the rabbit hole.
I'm guessing that's what this means. The 0.00037 is that a Bitcoin sign? I don't know. But this is the color I got. I think it's called Aqua. But it's a pretty sweet t-shirt. I dig it. Aquariumthoughts.com. Riddle's dropping the link in the chat too. So Rocco's getting out of here. Thanks for stopping by, Rocco. We probably won't be too much longer. We're winding down. Tonight's a pretty relaxed night. Just kind of a little bit more of a casual hangout for those of you that want to stop by for a little bit. And then Patrick mentioned more bad info on the Facebook fish groups. You bet. And speaking, I saw this earlier, and I had to chuckle. Let's see. Make sure you guys can see it. See if I can make it a little bit bigger, maybe. So somebody asked on a Facebook group, and their name's really irrelevant, but they posted, and they asked, does liquid fertilizer increase nitrates or alter water parameters? So I'm not sure what people necessarily think they're doing when they add fertilizers to the aquarium. But yes, for those of you that weren't aware, yes, fertilizer increases nitrates. That's kind of the point of it. The comments were almost as frustrating as the initial questions themselves. Good question following. I use Flourish, and no, it doesn't raise my nitrates. So let's learn from this for a moment. One, we'll learn that Flourish is an extremely weak and diluted fertilizer that I do not suggest. Two, if you're adding the recommended dose of any given fertilizer and you're still showing 0 nitrates after you add it, then you need to dose more. Basically, whether it's a weak fertilizer or not, whatever nitrates and nutrients you're putting into the tank, your plants are consuming, so you need to add more. What do these other comments here say? Should be in the fertilizer bottle you're using. Good ones will increase nitrates and should not alter water parameters if dosed correctly. Well, nitrates are a water parameter, just like your iron levels, your potassium levels, phosphate levels. So yes, it's altering all your water parameters. Just think about what's going on. And obviously it depends on the fertilizer that you're using. If you're using something like just the Flourish Iron, well, it's only going to ideally raise iron levels, whereas like your all-in-ones like Flourish Comprehensive, Easy Green, Thrive, APT Complete, etc., will add more nutrients to your tank. There's another comment. I use Aquarium Co-op, so talking about Easy Green, their nitrates are always high. Well, then you're dosing too much, or you're getting a lot of nitrates from another source, such as your bioload, in which case you need to dose less of that fertilizer. And if your nitrates are the only thing that are high, and you're a little bit low on your other nutrients, that's when you need to look at a different fertilizing regime, such as like something like Thrive S, which actually it contains the majority of your micros and macros, but has lower nitrate levels. So like if you have 20 to 40 nitrates in your tap water that you're using for water changes, you're not going to want to add a full dose of nitrates from something like Thrive or Easy Green. You'll want to dose less, like the Thrive S, or you use like an estimated index type method, or individual liquid ferts. So there's 2 cents on planted tanks for the evening. I'm sure Patty was super excited to listen to that. And if you're into planted tanks, hopefully you pick something out of it. If you're not into planted tanks, hopefully you just enjoyed some interesting Facebook responses. And for what it's worth, yes, I did comment, and I told you, well, the person that asked the question in a nice way, the proper information. So hopefully they learned from it. We'll see. I'm sure you probably get some. Do you get similar questions like that in the store? Do you have a lot of people asking about fertilizers in the store at all, Priscilla? Or
Not
so
really.
much?
I don't think people know that they have to add fertilizer. Not like half. I mean, just know about fertilizer in aquarium plants. I usually have to mention their house plants, and then they go like, "Oh, okay."
Okay. Sean wants to see the shell dweller. Have you made any progress on that? Obviously, you're working on an octopus right now, but
No, I'm kind of still stuck up on that background. Sorry.
Oh,
So
I
there's
remember
that.
that now.
So the answer to that, Sean, would be no.
I'll get
Hate-
back to it.
Hate to break it to you, but the answer is
In
no.
2 years from now.
No, come on. You know me too well. That's about right. No, I'll get to it.
No, I just remember watching one of the streams, and you were showing all your art. You're like, "Oh man, this one ain't finished yet. I did that like 2 years ago."
But I sometimes just it's like anybody, any artist, like making music or whatever. If you're not feeling it, then, you know,
Right.
Yeah, it's called a brain fart.
you have to wait till you actually like get into that vibe of finishing it.
I know that's not the art, the what do you want to call that? The artist language, but that's what I call it. Get stuck on something.
Myrtle thinks that you should just lose the shell dweller for about 5 years and then maybe finish it or just tear it up later down the road.
I think that would make Sean not so happy.
Are you making it for him?
He said he wanted it.
Did he commit to
Oh,
buy
Sean,
the
don't
original?
get your hopes up.
Never. It'll never happen. Never be finished.
It will.
Nope.
I'll finish it on my next RT stream with Pam.
So when do you guys do that artsy stream? Is that usually after your Saturday stream?
Usually on Saturday, but after my stream. But this Saturday, I actually won't be streaming.
Okay.
Pam will go an hour earlier instead.
And are you going to be on there with her at all, or?
No, I won't be there.
And then I know, like, it looked like I didn't jump on it. It looked like Ed was in there last week too.
Yeah, on my stream, yeah, he was a guest because he wanted to talk about aquarium decorations.
Aquarium.
Well, and then he
decorating.
was over there with Pam and did some painting of these little figures.
Yeah, Ed had the time of his life.
So, I did have a question for you. So I noticed that Rob from Flip did Coffee with Rob last week, and it looks like he's kind of starting to do some more stuff on YouTube again. So a question for you: would you be able to sweet talk him into being a guest down here one night? And for those in the chat, would the people in the chat be interested in having Rob on for a little bit?
I actually asked him to be a guest on my channel, and he said he would, but Rob is a really busy man.
Right.
I can ask him if he will come here too on a Tuesday, but don't expect him to be here next Tuesday.
No. I'm not saying like next week or this week or whenever. I'm just seeing if you would be willing to talk to him, and if the people that hang out with us, if that's somebody that they'd be interested in having on the show.
I messaged him, but he didn't look at it. I just need to call him. Like, he has so many messages.
Oh, I'm sure. Dude's busy.
So I'll tell you how this will happen, Mike. It ain't going to happen on your stream until it happens on hers, okay? If you're having her do it.
Well, I keep shrimp. He keeps shrimp. Like, he
has a lot of shrimp in his freezer.
Yeah, but a reason why I'm keeping shrimp is actually Rob, too. Like, he has a big influence of...
He was the third YouTube channel I checked out. and I almost started doing shrimp until I couldn't keep cherry shrimp alive. So I said, I'm done.
Should I send you some cherry shrimp? Mine are pretty hardy.
Say that again.
Should I send you some cherry shrimp? Mine are super hardy.
No, I don't care.
What
Just
do you
wait.
want?
I would, but just I can't do it right now.
Like,
I'd have to sneak a tank somewhere.
I have a friend that keeps my cherry shrimp in like a TDS of like 500 and like 82 degrees, and they're doing just fine.
82
So,
degrees.
Yeah, because he's breeding plecos, and he uses them to clean the eggs.
Oh, that's smart.
But my line actually survived, so it made it.
I don't know.
Oh, so you have to set up another tank. We can make that happen too. What do you need?
If this is a donation, then yes, I'll do it.
What you gonna tell your wife?
Like, I got to do this for a YouTube shout out.
Oh, I almost want to see that.
Well, actually, what? I've been on too many streams. I think it was Bree's stream. We got to talking about a matting filter, and a lot of people were like, wondering how to build it. I said, well, I'll do a video. And then somebody goes, well, I'll sponsor it. And I'm like, that means I actually got to do it.
Yeah, I have to do it.
So
Funny how that happens.
it's like, dang it. What did I get myself into?
Flip Aquatics sells matting filters, like in-house made matting filters.
Yeah, I was going to just show a video how to, make one in your own tank, DIY style. Then I found a video with the dude that made a corner one. That was pretty neat.
So if you check out Printed Reefing Solutions, he makes a 3D printed corner that uses magnets to hold it in the corner.
Oh, nice.
He was actually at a show that I went to several years ago. Pretty good dude.
You have to message me that. I'd like to see that. That seems
which
pretty
shrimp?
cool.
The shrimp always end up behind the matting filter, always.
That's fine. I'll just clean that side of it too.
I'm not sure if
I was just trying to figure out what to use to. I need like a plastic piece of angle, silicone it in there to hold the substrate back.
Right.
Did you ever go to the website Swiss Tropicals?
I think I have while back.
They're selling the corner ones. You should go look at their model.
So
I don't want to get copyrighted.
I don't think you're gonna get copyrighted unless you're gonna start selling it under their name.
No, I wouldn't do that.
So here's one that's 3D printed.
He uses pumps.
I'm not sure if it's a pump or if it could still be air driven and just have like a spray design. I mean, this specific one looks like it's set up for a pump, but you could put like jet lifter tubes in there pretty easy. All the same idea though, and like you can see here, the magnets. Then the magnets just go on the outside of the tank too.
That's pretty stinking smart.
So. Trying to see, and he makes a bunch. He used to. I don't know if he still makes them, but he used to make some pretty cool stuff. Different sizes.
that 3D printing is difficult until you get it the whole way calibrated.
I'm honestly not sure. I don't 3D print anything. Like you can see here,
Mhm.
so it's got like the lift tube, and then the magnets.
That's an air one, yeah. That's pretty sweet.
It's a little more traditional type. So something different. Sean said he wanted to do matins in all the tanks in the fish shed. I don't know. I mean they're nice. I prefer just regular sponge filters myself. They're easier to maintain. It's especially if you have a bunch of substrate or sand, it's kind of hard to move around. If you want to remove the actual piece of foam to rinse it out or do whatever, it's kind of a pain.
And that's where I was thinking of that piece to keep the substrate back.
Yep. Greg the Guppy guy said he had gnats on his matin filters. I've never had that happen, but I could see how the moisture on top might cause that.
What's he mean? He mean the bugs?
Yeah, I think so. So somebody asked this question.
Yeah, that's different. I don't know.
So Deborah asked if there's a discount code for SwissAquatics.com right now, and I do believe there is.
There is. Like Patty last time when she was like, everything's for free.
Right.
Oh, yeah, no, it's right there on the screen. Sorry, I'm not paying attention. I'm multitasking.
Dang, I just thought of something. I still got a gift card to that website.
Yeah.
Which one?
That one there that you got up.
This one right here.
Yeah.
So.
Wonder if I could sell it to somebody.
You might be able to.
You're not the only one. It's going to financially ruin me.
What does that even mean?
Listen, no, I don't want to hear it. That was your idea. I know who I won that off of, too.
I know.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to give out all these discount codes, all these gift certificates. Man, everybody's going to financially ruin me. You're one that agreed to it.
Yeah.
I don't even know how much my own discount is.
I think she only did 5% on yours.
No, I think it's 10%.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
You guys could save all kinds of money. Bottom Dweller said he'll give you $5.
No. Give me 40 and it's yours.
20 cents on the dollar. There you go. Patrick's got you. So, I don't know. Let's see what time it is.
11:50.
So 10 till. So let's I'll hang out for 10 more minutes. If you guys have some questions, feel free to throw them up. And then I'll probably send you over to somebody else that I've had going on in the background for a little while, because I don't need to run for 4 hours again tonight.
Is Blackie on?
Yep, he's still going. I don't know if he's doing anything productive, but he's still going. Pam's over there cheating on me. Aquamate.
Yeah, I can see that.
GRB, Chubby Guppy. I see you guys over there.
2 timers.
Priorities, man.
Hey, they just like
They're in
everybody.
2 different chats. I can't do that. I tried that once. I can't do that. Like, whenever people will have 2 different ones up, no, that's too damn confusing.
No. I'm not listening to it. I just had it on in the background just to see what they were up to.
Catfish Terry is still going?
I don't know how. Deborah said your 10-pack is showing sold out. Should she wait? Are you getting more stuff in soon?
10-pack of what, cherries?
I don't know. What do you have a 10-pack of?
Everything.
Well,
I need to
I don't
actually.
know.
I need to check on my shrimp inventory, and I'm actually gonna order some in about 3 weeks.
The 10-pack of cherries does show sold out.
Yeah.
There's one for you, Tom. Bottom
He's
dollar
gonna be
last
mad when I think it's a $35 gift card, but yeah, I'll do 40 and tell you 50 until you get it.
There you go.
Skippers knows how to hustle. That's funny.
Gotta make money somehow, man.
I don't like this. Too bad I can't tear it up
What's wrong with
Why
it?
don't you like it? Let me say it again.
because it's on a wooden board. I can't tear it up.
Let's karate chop it. That looks nice. What's wrong with you?
Oh no, it's too dark now.
No, it's fine.
I need to add some outlines.
Outlines. What do you need
Some
outlines?
like tiny little invisible outlines.
Murdu said, "Don't you karate kid that, Priscilla."
Thanks for that tip.
Cobra Kai.
Preferred method of destruction.
Chainsaw skills.
Sean says, "Well, you could burn it."
Oh, that's right. I could make a fire outside.
It's definitely an option.
Actually, they don't like it anymore if you do fires in Colorado.
What? Oh yeah, they probably don't. Well, you're not allowed to have a burn pit in your backyard.
You can have a barbecue with like a closed barbecuer, but you can't have a bonfire.
Well, that
Sounds-
just sucks. That ain't fun.
who
Well,
lives there
our
anyway?
forest burned down.
Well, that's just life. It happens.
Flush it.
Well, that's gonna be a big toilet.
I like that one. Flush it.
That's all Sean cares about right there.
I'll finish it next time. I'm on Pam's. Promise.
That won't be for a while, though.
What do they call that? Whenever an artist, a writer, or a music person, they get stuck. There's this. They call it something.
Creative blockage.
Well, because they call it writer's block. We'll
I
go
don't know
with that.
if there's any laxatives for that. Because they call it blockage.
I'm not going to get involved in that one.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
don't.
Prune juice will affect that.
I was going to say yes. I was waiting for somebody to mention something like that, but
Yeah.
You guys are ridiculous.
you're ridiculous.
I was waiting for somebody to type enema.
Last time we were talking about root tabs, and Patty started talking about her suppositories. So
Yeah.
Does Patty just not like plants or something?
I don't know. I don't know what Patty keeps in her tanks. I honestly have no idea.
Now I want to know.
So anyway, I think we're about to the end of it here. I'll probably call it a night here. We seem to. We didn't exactly have a set topic for tonight, but we seem to be going further and further away from anything productive. So I will be on next Tuesday. And now that we anybody that had any questions threw them out there in a little more relaxing environment tonight. Next week, you can expect us to get back to business a little bit more with something specific. I got a couple things in mind. Last week, we hit plants pretty hard as far as fertilizers go, so we might switch it up and shift gears to something a little more fish or shrimp related for those of you whose attention we lost last week or probably put you to sleep. So thanks for stopping by, everybody. Thanks, Tom. Thanks for Priscilla for hanging out. There are a couple of other streams going right now. I know Blackie is going on about Blackie things, and Catfish Cherry stream is still going. Looks like there's quite a few people over there.
Greg came back.
Greg never
He's
left.
jumping back and forth.
Did you say he went to Blackie's?
I don't think so. At least I didn't see. Fish Room said, thanks for the stream. Appreciate it. Like I said, this was kind of a little more relaxed evening for tonight. Next week, we'll kind of get back into a little more technical stuff. Can
I say this real quick? She did her first live stream today to try to figure it out.
Oh, really? Nice. How'd that go?
Yeah, I thought it went pretty well after I figured out my stinking computer almost went through the wall.
Well, that'll happen sometimes.
Ugh.
So feel free. Thanks, Myrtle. Posting up a couple stream options for those of you that are interested in burning up your eyeballs a little bit longer tonight. Dragon asked if Corvus is on. Nope. It looks like, if I had to guess, Blackie's brother, because they look identical. But I'm not familiar with him, so run over there. Check them out. Otherwise, that's it for me tonight, guys. Thanks again. Don't forget to check out these guys' channels if you're not already. Again, aquariumthoughts.com is where I got the red tail catfish tea. Rob over at Flips. If you have previously seen Rob, you know that he's been pretty busy, so it's nice to see him streaming again. I enjoy the Wednesday morning ones. I usually don't catch those live. I usually catch it in the replay while I'm at the gym. So, but thanks for everybody that hung out in the chat. Thanks for you guys in the replay watching. Everybody hanging out. Have a good night. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time.
Bye.